Good evening from Jerusalem, Jane. I want to give you a current news updates. Earlier today, Danish police arrested three suspects. Three suspects was also arrested in Germany and one was arrested in the Netherlands. Then Israeli Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, went out and thanked the Danish police for arresting 7 people in Europe who was all affiliated with Hamas and planning major terror attacks. The government in Holland, the Netherlands, and the government in Germany has said that the people they arrested was affiliated with Hamas. The Danish government, as of now, did not make that announcement. But the Israeli Mossad is saying that those 7 people that was arrested in Europe was part of a Hamas network planning to carry out terror attacks in Europe. People are asking me, Jane, how many people are still held hostage inside the Gaza Strip? Right now, that horrible number is 135. 20 of those people has been declared dead by the Israeli military, and that is based on findings that soldiers has done inside the Gaza Strip. Then it came out today, I don't know if that's true, it hasn't been confirmed, but there was just report in the Israeli media that Israel had asked Egypt to try and facilitate a new hostage deal in order to bring more people home here to Israel who has now been in captivity inside Gaza by brutal ISIS Hamas for 2 months. And not once did Hamas allow the Red Cross to come in and examine them, to bring them medicine, to attend their wounds. Maybe the women has been raped or abused. So the Red Cross has not been in there to be with them, to examine them, to help them for those 2 months. I also want to mention for you that for several years, 2 Israelis has been held captive inside the Gaza Strip, and Israel, 2 Israelis, the bodies of 2 dead soldiers that was captured in 2014 in the last war in Gaza is also still held hostage or captive, held by Hamas inside the Gaza Strip. 8 soldiers were severely wounded in operations inside the Gaza Strip today. 1 was announced killed by the Israeli Defense Forces. Of course, yesterday was that horrendous day where the Israeli military came out and said that 10 soldiers in 1 day had been killed defending the Jewish homeland against ISIS Hamas. 10 in 1 day. Hundreds of soldiers has been wounded. Hundreds and hundreds of soldiers has been wounded on October 7, but also since they went into Gaza in war inside Gaza. So please continue to hold all of these soldiers in your prayers for a speedy and a swift recovery. I want to show you something. Look at all of these phones. Look at this equipment. Look at all of these weapons. You're probably sitting thinking, well, they probably found that in Gaza. Well, they found a lot in Gaza. They found a lot more than this. Let me find my notes here. But this was actually found when the Israeli military for 3 days was carrying out raids inside Samaria, in the city of Jenin, and in what's called the refugee camp in Jenin, which is also basically like a city. There are so many terrorists inside Jenin. I have reported about many terror attacks who has been carried out by Jenin. It's a hotbed for terrorists. So the Israeli military went in for 3 days and they found all of these weapons. So they searched more than 400 buildings. They detained hundreds of terrorist suspects and confiscated dozens of weapons and ammunition that I just showed you. In addition, the forces destroyed 6 explosive manufacturing laboratories, several underground tunnel shafts, and 4 observation posts. This was out in Judea and Samaria. Unbelievable. So the Israeli forces are very active inside the Gaza Strip. They are, as usual, very active against the terrorists and the terrorist infrastructure in Judea and Samaria. And of course, they are also very active on the northern border, where Hezbollah continue to shoot and attack into Israel. In case you didn't know, Hezbollah has 150,000 missiles and rockets pointed at Israel. So as much as the whole situation inside Gaza is very bad, it could be so much worse, and it will be so much worse the day when Israel will be in a full-blown war against Hezbollah. This is something that America is working very hard to prevent. Other nations are working very hard to prevent, because it can escalate into a full-blown new war here in the Middle East. Anthony Blinken was recently here. That was the 4th visit since Israel was attacked on October 7. Today, Jake Sullivan is here, the National Security Advisor, and next week, Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, will be here from America. They are, of course, all here and coming here to hear about the situation in Gaza, how Israel is moving forward, the plans that Israel has, and what's going to happen when that war is over, who's going to rebuild Gaza, who's going to be in control in Gaza. And then, like I said, they are very, very concerned about what's happening on the northern border. America and the American administration has started pressuring Israel to finish the war inside the Gaza Strip, continue to bash Israel for too many dead civilians, when in fact Israel is the army who has done, they are going out of their way to protect the civilians inside the Gaza Strip. So what was quite extraordinary was, less than an hour ago, the Israeli Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, was having a meeting with Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor from America. And in front of all the cameras, the Israeli Defense Minister was saying that it will take several months before we are done against Hamas inside the Gaza Strip. That is not what the Americans was expecting or wanted to do. But Israel has no choice. Israel cannot stop until every single terrorist has been killed or surrendered. Weapons has been handed over. And by the way, that happened nearly on a daily basis. Today, the Israeli military released more videos and photos of Hamas terrorists who surrender to the Israeli military. And through interrogations with them, Israel is learning more about the whereabouts of the hostages inside the Gaza Strip, and of course also the whereabouts about many more of the terrorists and the terror infrastructure inside the Gaza Strip. So many terrorists are surrendering inside the Gaza Strip. So for such a time as this, continue to pray for Israel. There are still heartbreaking stories coming out every day about the people who were murdered. Many families has lost 1, 2, 3. Whole families were eradicated. Whole families were brutally murdered or burned alive on that horrendous October 7. There is not, I keep saying this, there is not one family that has not been affected by this. There was before Israel and after Israel on October 7. The one word you can describe this country right now is grief, is sorrow, is mourning. It's unbelievable, the devastations and the trauma. This is a trauma-filled country right now. And all of these soldiers who is out fighting inside the Gaza Strip, They all have families, sitting not knowing, is my dad coming home? Is my husband coming home? Is my brother coming home? Is my son coming home? Is my nephew coming home? And, you know, almost every day there's a knock on the door saying, we regret to inform you, your beloved was killed inside Gaza. So for such a time as this, please continue to pray for Israel. You know, Israel is battling the evil axis of the world. Israel is the front door to the rest of the world. In case you didn't know, what happens here always impacts the rest of the world. And this is, and there is no debate, there is no discussion. This is the land of the Bible. This is God's holy land. God put his name down on this little piece of real estate. That's why the hatred towards this nation and the hatred towards the Jewish people is, you can't put it into words. You can't describe the hatred that we see towards Israel and the Jewish people. I mean, I saw even mainstream media journalists who is just reporting about the atrocities that happened here to the Jewish people on October 7th. All of a sudden, they are getting threatened by their lives, by these evil, sick people around the world who's calling for the genocide of the Jewish people. So I think you and the rest of the world have gotten a wake-up call, what we have known for years, because we're living in the midst of this hate. But I think the rest of the world is waking up to really realize what kind of evil, demonic hate that is in people's hearts towards Israel. You can see what they're screaming in the streets when they're walking in your city, or they are taking down the national flag of your country and they're putting up the fake Palestinian flag. It's just absolutely unheard of. And that's why the people who knows the truth, you and me and everybody who knows facts and history and the Bible, we need to speak out against all of that, while the Jewish people are fighting for their survival, fighting for their right to even be in this country. This is the nation where it's okay to say we want to murder the Jews, we want to annihilate the Jews. The things that's being said towards the Jewish people on mainstream media, on social media, and being chanted in the streets, if that was being spoken against African Americans or other groups, I mean, the whole world will go. But now it's against the Jews, and so many people are just staying quiet. So for such a time as this, we can't stay quiet. We can't stay quiet. It's not okay to call for the annihilations of the Jewish people. It's not okay to call for the destruction of the Jewish homelands. It's not okay. And these things happen when good people are doing nothing. These things happen when bad people are doing something. So who are you? What side are you on? You can't stay silent for such a time as this. Thank you for watching. Especially, again, I cannot emphasize, follow my social media, my new Telegram channel, Jerusalem Jane. If you only follow me on Facebook, you don't see anything. They are censoring my videos. They're censoring my posts. If you follow me on Telegram, you get all my video updates, but then you get many posts during the day that only goes on Telegram. So please find my Telegram channel. I will post a link when I share this video. Happy Hanukkah, the festival of light. God's promises to Israel stands. God is still doing miracle for the Jewish people today. The oil lasted for 8 days. It was supposed to last for 1. And God is faithful to his people. Bye.